Our next guest was awarded the Ken Dodd Trophy for the Best New Magical Entertainer back in 1998. Since then, he's been awarded the title of British Magical Champion of Comedy and was awarded the Senator Crandall Award for Comedy at the Abbott's Convention in the US. He's received the prestigious Carlton Comedy Award from the Magic Circle, and he's won the Magic Circle's Stage Magician of the Year. He's been a regular on TV, including BAFTA award-winning shows, and he was also the first magician ever to fool Penn and Teller. An incredible career. Please welcome member of the Inner Magic Circle, the fabulous Mr. John Archer. Hi, John.
Hey, how can you? All right. It's very impressive.
I know, it sounds so impressive, doesn't it? Seriously,
It's amazing how good you can make yourself sound if you list all the things you've done over 30 odd years.
Hey,
makes it sound
I
like
got
they
this
all
all off
happened in one
Wikipedia.
go. Yeah,
I know, seriously. You've been around for such a long time. I remember watching you on the British Magical Championships when I was younger, and you always made such a hit. Instantly, I knew that you were going to be a regular, and you've always had a big following amongst magicians, I think. But more importantly, you were the first magician ever to fool Penn and Teller. Now, that show's gone on to global success, but what was that like, being the first magician to fool Penn and Teller?
Well, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember when the show was coming around and everybody was getting the calls, but the show had never happened before, so I don't think people really thought it was possible to fool them. You know, all the talk at the time was, well, you might fool Penn, but you know, Teller's just smart. You'll never fool Teller. And I don't think people realised, you know, that we can all be fooled. You know, when we twist things a different way. So it was amazing because sort of the people who went up, and it was the sort of pilot before the first series that I was on. The people that went on that. You know, never really knew what was going to happen. We were all nervous that it was going to be like the early BGT days where everybody got slated and whatever. We didn't really know, and yet, you know, it turns out, you know, we could fool them, and you know, I fooled them that show, and Ben Earl, obviously, he fooled them as well. And they were lovely to us. So, and I'm not surprised the show's had success. Really, I'm surprised it didn't have success over here, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. And Penn made a kind of joke at the time to say, I can't believe that a guy's fooled us with some envelopes. Yeah. But it really was quite a puzzler, you know. Yeah. And incredibly clean, that trick.
It is clean. And do you know what? I still do it. Well, I don't do it at the moment. I'm sat at home, you know, waiting for the lawn to grow so I can cut it again. But I still do it regularly in my shows. And the tour show that I sort of was halfway through before this pandemic happened. You know, I was opening with that, and it's you know, it's a silly trick. It's not a closer, but it's a lot of fun. And you're right, it is very, very clean. Even when you know what's going on, it just looks so good. You know, when you take the money out at the end. So I was lucky that I had that trick. I'd had it for about a year when Penn and Teller, when you know, the company approached me, because I don't think anything else I've got would have fooled them. To be honest, that was the only thing.
A lot of stage magicians, their dream is to perform in Vegas, and part of the prize of that was to open for Penn and Teller's show at the Rio. Yeah. And we never really hear a lot about that, so it'd be great to hear from somebody that's actually gone and done it. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was amazing. In the end, we didn't open for them; we closed, which was a bit weird. But I suppose it makes sense because the audience have got to see Penn and Teller, and turning up and suddenly, you know, these two extra guys they don't know might have phased them. And also, I think Penn and Teller want to know that their show is starting with a bang, and it's just too risky to start with two guys who, you know, they weren't sure of. So they did their whole show and then said to the audience, do you know what? We've got two guys who fooled us in the UK. They're going to be performing in a minute. If you need to leave, you can. We've got a few friends who want to come in and watch them, which is basically all of the Vegas magicians. So
what an introduction to say, if you need to leave, you can.
Yeah, but do you know what the good thing is? The good thing is nobody left, because it was like, you know, these two guys fooled you, you know, so it was just like, you know, why would they leave? And it was a bonus. So I suppose a couple of people, maybe if they had another show or something booked, did or whatever, might have gone. But really, it sort of filled up, and there was sort of all these, you know, Matt King wandered in, and Chris Kenner wandered in, all these people wandered in, stood round the sides, and you thought, oh my word, it was fantastic.
That's great.
And also,
go on.
And the other thing now is sort of the prize seems a bit odd now, because you perform in Las Vegas to fool Penn and Teller, and then if you fool them, you get to perform there again. It's sort of, it's in their thing. It seems like a strange sort of prize now, but I don't think it's ever been about the prize. It's been about the kudos of fooling them. Or, in fact, I don't think it's even about that anymore. It's just about, then, if you go on that show as a magician, you're going to be treated well, and you're going to have a nice little showreel clip.
Yeah, it's exactly. I did it a couple of years ago, and I knew full well that I wouldn't fool them going on because I did the iPads trick. But I knew that they also can be very gracious to you. I think if they know that you're there to not fool them as well, they're very kind. I found them absolutely delightful, and I'm huge fans of them. Talking about prizes, talking about all the prizes and stuff. I was reading on your introduction there that you've probably one of the most decorated comedy magicians in all of history. I mean, you had so many awards.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe.
But do any of them stick out to you? I mean, which one means the most?
It's a hard question. I think winning the Magic Circle Stage Magician of the Year felt very good for me because, a lot of times comedy magicians aren't taken seriously as magicians a lot of the time, and that was a stage competition, where I was competing again, great stage performers, and when I won it that year, I felt a little bit like I was recognised on a level playing field with other people. I know it sounds stupid, but sometimes when your career is all about looking stupid, it's quite easy for people to think, well, he doesn't really know much about what he's doing. He just, he's just a funny guy. So that meant a lot, I think, winning that one.
I want to clarify that for everybody at home because John's exactly right that most comedy magicians, the perception is, and in some cases reality, that they do fairly simple magic. But John's magic has always been paramount. It's been very, very impactful, really, really solid stuff, and he's released so much stuff to the industry, and it's very well respected. So it's a really good point that. I imagine the awards in the early days must have meant a lot, like the British Magical Championships and things when you were getting going, because it sort of brought you that recognition.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I ever won, I think, was the Theo Speaker Cup at the IBM, and that was with an act called Archini and Smith with a mate of mine, Mike Smith, and I was still a policeman at the time. I think I left about maybe a year or two afterwards, but that was the first time I'd ever competed in any magic competition, and I'd watched many, and sort of we don't see a lot of those sort of old magic convention competitions anymore. They've all sort of faded away, haven't there? A lot of them.
There's not so many acts, John, competing on the stage, though, is there now?
No.
I mean, the industry's moved so much to close up and screens.
Yeah. No, that's true. And you're right. And a lot of the stage stuff now, a lot of guys are doing it with the screens and stuff. I've always struggled a little bit with that, just because of the comedy side of it, just sort of connecting eye to eye with people.
Yeah, I've been working with screens for 2 decades, really, and it took me a long time to work out how to keep people engaged. But it's an important medium.
No, it is, exactly. And if you can do it well, it's brilliant. You do it well, obviously, but it is another branch of performing. It's that. Like I say.
Well, it's weird because you have to become your own director whilst you're doing
Yeah.
it. So it's a bit of an odd skill set, but you become accustomed to it after some time. You've been on so many television shows and many series that some of the viewers won't have seen. Including one that won a BAFTA award. Was that right?
Do you know what? I've been involved in 2 shows, funnily enough, that have won BAFTA. So I wrote for a show called The Sketch Show on ITV with my mate Tim Vine, and there was Lee Mack, Tim Vine, and a few other people in it, and that won a BAFTA. And then Help My Supply Teacher's Magic, the second series, won a children's BAFTA. Both of which I was involved with and wrote for, but sadly, I don't have a BAFTA on my shelf. It's
But we've only been talking for 10 minutes, and already I'm finding multiple awards that aren't on Wikipedia. So if anybody is out there that can edit,
yeah, I should maybe go on there and put that up there.
But yeah, for all the TV, I think you're probably most known to the general population for Britain's Got Talent, and I know that we've had a few people on this show that have been involved in that. But yours really stuck out to me because it felt like the first time that we saw the real you. It felt very real, and I think that was a lot of its appeal.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just wondered how that was for yourself. I'm going to be talking to Mark about the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Mark.
How was it?
He got through the final, swine. No, it was. Do you know what? It was great. I loved it. I sort of went in with an attitude of challenging myself and stop running away from it, John. Stop being frightened and just prove to yourself you can do it. That was all the attitude. But yeah, I did try and. I think a lot of people go on Britain's Got Talent and they make mistakes, just not realising what the show is, and it's as much a reality show as it is a talent show. So you've got to bear that in mind, that the producers want people at home shouting at the screen, either shouting "you're terrible" or shouting "we love you," but they want them talking to the screen. That's what they want. And if you haven't got a backstory, and I didn't want to go in particularly with a backstory, then you've got to make it human. It's no good going in there with just a brilliant trick, because there's lots of people who go on there with just a brilliant trick, and you can get through with just a brilliant trick, but you really need to make it about you in some way. Either make yourself lovable or likable. I mean, if you're a kid, that's great. You've got it. If you're 90 odd and you're in the army, you've got it. They love you. There's lots of ways you can do it, and I didn't have any of them, so I just had to try and make myself likable to the judges and to the audience, really, which hopefully I managed to do. But
you certainly did. I mean, I messaged you right after that show. I was really touched by it. I just felt that you had the balance just right, and whether that was intentional or just in the moment, whatever you did, you did it perfectly. But before we carry on, I want all the viewers at home, if there's anybody out there that hasn't seen you, John, we're going to play a little clip of John in action. Take a look at this, everyone.
So I thought you might want to see a picture of me. That's me there. So I got one printed out, just because obviously you might forget who I am without having a picture behind to reference to. So if you just excuse me a second. I thought I'd start with a little bit of music. I actually learned to play the guitar when I was 5. Not now, no, please. It was actually nearly finished then. I put my father in a liquidizer, now I'm drinking pop. There we are. That's it. So I'm going to do a little card trick now, but it is a card trick with a difference. Quite often when I say that, people gasp. Not very spontaneous. Try it again with a little bit more feeling. A card trick with a difference. You are kind. It's a card trick that uses a deck of cards and some elastic bands. I don't need the elastic bands just yet, but I do need the cards, and I need somebody to check the cards on the audience's behalf. Remind me of your name. Sean, could you just stand up for me? Yeah. Was that your legs that just made that noise then? You actually got legs made out of glass. That's weird. Good evening, Sean! Sean, take the cards. Do me a favour, Sean. Check the cards. Make sure it's not a trick pack of cards. Make sure they're not cut into a funny shape. Make sure they're not glued together in one corner. Make sure they don't have Marvin's Magic written on the back. And then when you've checked them, Sean, I want you to shuffle those cards for me, if you would, please. Shuffle them, mix, mix, mix. But whatever you do, don't change the order of the cards. Kidding! Give me the cards, Sean. Sean, turn around and face the audience. Give Sean a huge round of applause. Thank you, Sean. I'm going to play a little game with these elastic bands and cards, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to wrap one around the cards side to side, another elastic band around the cards end to end, thus. That's a Latin word that means thus. And then I'm going to throw the cards into the audience. Whoever catches the cards, I want that person to stand up. The person stands up, prizes open the deck of cards, has a look at one of the cards, remember what that card is, and they throw it onto somebody else. They catch the cards, they look at a card, they throw it onto somebody else. The cards get thrown around the room with people catching them and looking at them until eventually 52 cards have been looked at. So if you can get ready to catch the cards, it's a good idea at this point not to look away. These cards cannot change direction in midair. They're not going to think, oh, she's not looking, I'll move to the left. It won't happen. Deck of cards on the corner of the head. Get ready to catch somebody over there. Catch. Wonderful. Stand up if you would, please, sir. Prize open the deck of cards. Have a look at one card and one card only. Remember that card. Then turn and throw them into somebody in the middle, not too far back. Wonderful. That was your idea of making eye contact, was it? Can you stay stood up? I need you for a police statement shortly. Would you stand up, sir? Excellent. You didn't know this was going to happen, would you? You'd have put a better shirt on than that. Just have a look at the card. and then throw them back over to this side. Anybody at all? Excellent. And would you stay stood up, sir, as well? Would you stand up, madam? Excellent. And just have a look at the card, remember what it is, and then throw the cards back to me. Thanks. Your name is? Tony and? Brian? Pardon? Graham. I'll call you what the heck I like, all right? Pardon? Lauren. I didn't actually ask you, Lauren, but thanks anyway. Okay, just concentrate on your card for me. That's very good. Lauren, concentrate on your card. That's very, very good. Bob, concentrate on your card. Nothing at all. Okay. Any card, any card, any card. Say nothing. Give nothing away. That's good. The King of Hearts, the Two of Spades, and the Six of Diamonds. If I've named your card, would you sit down, please?
John, that was fantastic. Before you go, I've been asking a few people this, that if the pandemic is ended tomorrow, just take that out of the equation. What's next for you? You've achieved so much in your career. What's left for you? What do you want to do?
The truth is, there's nothing really that I desperately have on a bucket list anymore. The Palladium was one, and obviously I got that ticked off through Britain's Got Talent. So really, I just love performing. I just want to carry on work. I don't think I'll ever retire. More than ever, I've realised that I couldn't retire just over the last 2 months. I do miss, whether you call it ego or what it is, but I do miss just being in front of an audience. So I mean, my tour will restart. At the moment it's scheduled to restart September with provisional dates at the beginning of next year if that doesn't happen. I'm also touring again, supporting Tim Vine on a crazy little musical thing where I'm not even doing magic. I'm just doing a singing ukulele playing character called Big Buddy Holly.
John, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we've put a link up below so that people can find out some more about you. But John, thank you so much, and stay safe, and hopefully we'll get to see you in person soon.
Thanks, Jamie. See you soon.
See you soon, John.
Bye-bye.